Hello and welcome. It's not often that we get to meet community leaders who serve their people with honesty and don't expect to get anything in return. But the township of Alexandra in northern Johannesburg has produced such a leader. The name Linda Twala has become synonymous with selflessness. More than 30 years after Linda put his life on the line to save Alexandra from being demolished, his struggle to improve his community goes on.
When I grew up in Alex, those days, there were no tarred roads and we're using bucket system. Because I was born and brought up here, I just enjoyed every moment of it. I was just unfortunate because I am not a graduate and I couldn't go to high school because of my poor background.
But Linda Twala was not prepared to let poverty stand in the way of making his beloved home of Alexandra a better place. His inspiration comes from his mother, who raised him with two guiding principles: discipline and generosity. These lessons from home shaped Linda to become a generous man, even at a time when he couldn't afford much.
In 1967, I buried an old lady by the name of Rosie Shabalala, who used to come to my mother's home, when she was asking for food. And whenever she saw me, she used to say to me, "You're going to bury me one day." I made a coffin out of wood because I loved woodcraft when I was still young.
His love of helping others gave birth to Linda's coffin-making business. But times were uncertain.
When our freedom comes along, when our freedom...
It was during the 1970s, at the height of apartheid. Communities like Alex were seen as unacceptable black spots in the middle of the whites-only suburbs and faced being bulldozed to the ground. Linda and others fiercely resisted the destruction of their homes.
I then started printing the shirts that were written, "Help Save Alexandra."
The go-slows, the Azikwelwa, actually, movement forged actually the people together. Once you have joint symbols, joint meanings, then you've got this collective consciousness of a people. So Alexandra had a particular consciousness of itself in a similar way like Sophia Town used to.
The success of their campaign created excitement among the residents of Alexandra, but it also brought trouble for activists like Linda. By 1986, this highly respected businessman had built a big house, a clinic and a community center in his family yard. But shockingly, state security forces bombed the building with hand grenades.
As I was coming down, I could see the flame, that was my home, because it was a big home, with a garage and that mini clinic that we had, which was helping people. And when I got here, people were busy fighting the fire brigades because they were not putting out the fire, because they got the instructions from the police that they should not do that. My 3 daughters were in the house, were saved by my dog's kennel. But my dogs were killed and my cars were all bombed, and it was sad.
Linda's heart broke to see everything he had worked for razed to the ground. But he refused to let this senseless act break his fighting spirit.
After it was bombed, there was the Rotary group of Rosebank who came forward to help. They put up this lovely building that you see. We now have a beautiful clinic and doctors' rooms and reception areas.
And he didn't stop there. He got philanthropists from around the world involved to help expand the center. It has a state-of-the-art clinic, a shelter for the elderly, and even a library. And to top it all, he also got to build this skills center to help stem poverty in the troubled community of Alexandra.
Now we have another center at the back which is called a Center of Excellence, whereby we are trying to get our children off the streets to come and learn computers, to come and learn skills, and others are learning music.
I realize there's more to life than receiving. I think we find fulfillment when we give out, when we serve others, and that is how it has inspired me, because I started getting more involved with the community.
We cannot look upon the government as the Messiah that's going to deliver everything. We've got to do things on our own. Vukuzenzele, wake up and do things on your own.
There you have it. We salute you, Mr. Twala, for your selflessness. Remember, we always love to hear from you against all odds at enca.com. You can also be in touch with us on Twitter and Facebook. Still to come, a shoestring budget movie takes South Africa's film industry to new heights.